Before you move your finger, before you decide, this is just another reminder. Listen to me carefully. If you clicked on this video, it's because something inside you is tired of forcing. Not tired in the body, tired in the soul. You don't struggle the same way anymore. You don't chase the same way anymore. You don't even want things the way you used to. And that scares you because you ask yourself in silence, why can't I push like before? Why does trying feel heavy now? Why does my heart resist effort? Let me say this very clearly. This is not a problem. This is not weakness. This is not you falling behind. This is a very specific moment in a believer's life. A moment when Allah changes how He deals with you. Most people never understand this moment. And because they don't understand it, they panic, they rush, they force doors that were meant to stay closed. And they ruin what Allah was protecting. But if you understand this moment, you stop blaming yourself. You stop fighting the pause. You stop fearing the silence. And your entire story changes. Stay with me until the end of this video. Not because I want your time, but because by the end, you will understand why Allah slowed you down, why effort stopped working, why your heart changed, and why this season, as confusing as it feels, is actually one of the most protected phases of your life. And let me ask you something now. Answer this honestly, even if only in your heart. Where are you watching from right now? And what time is it where you are? Because someone is listening to this at 2 a.m. with a heavy chest, quiet tears, and questions they don't tell anyone. Someone else is listening in the middle of the day, acting strong, handling responsibilities, but feeling empty inside. And Allah knows exactly who needs this message. Do not rush this video. Do not treat this like background noise. Because somewhere in the middle, and especially near the end, you will hear something that explains your entire last chapter in a way you've never heard before. And when you finish listening, you won't feel broken for not forcing things anymore. You will feel safe. Stay with me. Allah is teaching you the difference between effort and control. There comes a moment in life that does not arrive loudly. It does not come with an announcement. It does not come with a clear sign. It comes quietly. One day you wake up and you realize something feels different inside your chest. You are still trying. You are still making du'a. You are still moving forward, but something has changed. You are no longer forcing, and that confuses you because for so long, forcing felt like strength. Forcing felt like effort. Forcing felt like care. You believed that if you stopped pushing, everything would fall apart. So you pushed your heart to stay where it was tired. You pushed your mind to keep hoping where it was hurting. You pushed yourself to wait for people who were not coming back. And Allah watched you. He watched you exhaust yourself in silence. He watched you blame yourself for things that were never your fault. He watched you carry weight that was never placed on your shoulders. And then slowly, very slowly, He changed something inside you. Now, when you try to force, your heart resists. Not because you don't care, not because you gave up, but because your soul has learned something your mind is still catching up to. You sit with yourself and ask, why can't I push like I used to? Why does forcing feel wrong now? Why do I feel tired of trying to control everything? Nothing has gone wrong. Allah is not punishing you. Allah is not taking anything away from you. Allah is refining you. There is a difference that only time and pain can teach. The difference between doing your part and trying to do Allah's part. Before, you thought effort meant control. You thought effort meant worrying all night. You thought effort meant planning every possible outcome. You thought effort meant holding everything tightly so nothing slips away. But Allah is now teaching you that real effort does not suffocate the heart. Real effort does not steal your peace. Real effort does not make you feel like you are drowning. Effort is simple. Effort is when you show up honestly. Effort is when you pray sincerely. Effort is when you walk forward without demanding to see the entire road. That kind of effort is worship. But control is when fear takes the steering wheel. Control is when you say, Ya Allah, I trust you, but only if you do it my way. Control is when you try to decide the timing, the people, the outcome, the exact shape of the blessing. And control is exhausting. Allah never asked you to control tomorrow. He never asked you to calculate how things will work out. He never asked you to guarantee results. He only asked you to trust Him enough to take the next step, just the next step. But for a long time, you tried to carry the entire future on your back. You tried to predict heartbreak before it happened. You tried to prepare for loss before it arrived. You tried to protect yourself by controlling everything. And Allah, out of mercy, allowed you to try until you reached your limit, until your heart could no longer breathe under the weight of control. So Allah gently removed your strength to force, not suddenly, not harshly, but slowly. One day forcing felt heavy, another day it felt pointless. Another day it felt wrong, and that scared you because forcing had become familiar. You didn't realize that forcing was never strength, it was survival. You were surviving pain, you were surviving uncertainty, you were surviving disappointment, and survival mode cannot last forever. So Allah began teaching your heart how to live instead of survive. When you feel unable to force things now, it is not because your faith is weak, it is because your faith is growing up. Allah is removing the illusion that you were ever in control to begin with. And that illusion hurts to lose, because control made you feel safe. Control made you feel prepared. Control made you feel responsible. But control was also stealing your sleep, stealing your calm, stealing your joy. So Allah replaced it with something gentler. Trust. Not the kind of trust that is loud, not the kind of trust that feels confident every day, but the quiet trust that whispers, Ya Allah, I will do my part and I will stop there. This is why you feel different now. You still care, but you no longer chase. You still love, but you no longer beg. You still hope, but you no longer panic. And that does not mean you are cold. It means you are healing. Allah is teaching you that what is written for you does not need fear to arrive. What is meant for you will not miss you because you stopped forcing. And what was never meant for you was never in your hands, no matter how tightly you held on. This is why your heart now wants peace more than answers. This is why you feel tired of explanations and hungry for calm. This is why you are learning to say, Ya Allah, I leave it with you. Not because you are weak, but because you finally understand that Allah never needed your control to fulfill His promise. He only needed your trust. And when Allah removes your urge to force, He is not pushing you backward. He is lifting a burden your heart was never designed to carry. He is freeing you from a weight you mistook for responsibility. And that freedom, that quiet freedom inside your chest, that is mercy. Let me tell you something gently, because some truths only settle when they are spoken softly. Forcing once felt necessary because you were afraid. Not afraid in a loud way, not afraid in a way people could see, but afraid deep inside. Afraid of losing time, afraid of missing what was meant for you, afraid that if you stopped pushing, everything would disappear. So you held on tighter. You told yourself, if I don't try harder, nothing will change. If I don't push, I will be left behind. If I don't control this, it will break. And Allah understood your fear. He did not shame you for it. He did not punish you for it. He allowed you to learn through experience. Because some lessons cannot be taught with words. they can only be learned through exhaustion. You see, forcing things often comes from a wounded heart. A heart that once lost something suddenly. A heart that was once surprised by pain. A heart that once trusted and was hurt. So it promised itself, I will never be unprepared again. That promise felt strong, but it slowly turned into a cage. You became alert all the time. Your mind never rested. Your heart was always tense. Even when things were calm, you were preparing for the storm. And Allah watched you live like this until one day He decided to heal you. Instead of letting you harden, so He softened your grip, not by force, but by changing your heart. Now, when you try to force things, your chest feels tight, your thoughts feel heavy, your soul feels tired. This is not failure. This is your heart saying, I trust Allah enough to stop fighting. Before, your strength was in pushing. Now, your strength is in pausing. Before, you measured progress by speed. Now, you measure progress by peace. That is growth. Allah retrains the heart gently. He does not shout. He does not rush. He allows you to feel uncomfortable with old habits, so you naturally let them go. This is why you no longer enjoy controlling conversations, controlling people, controlling outcomes. You are tired of holding what never belonged to you. And listen carefully, Allah never intended for you to manage the entire journey. He only asked you to take the next step with sincerity. You were never meant to know how everything will work out. You were never meant to carry the future. That is Allah's job. Your job was always simpler than you thought. To be honest, to be patient, to be trusting. And now, finally, your heart understands this. That is why peace feels more important than progress. Earlier, you would choose movement, even if it cost you your calm. Now, you would rather wait than move with anxiety. Earlier, you would accept stress as a normal part of life. Now, your soul rejects it. This is not laziness. This is wisdom. Allah teaches His servants that speed without peace is not success. Noise without clarity is not growth. And forcing without trust is not faith. You are entering a stage where Allah prepares you, not by pushing you forward, but by steadying your heart. Because what is coming next does not need a restless soul. It needs a calm one. What Allah is preparing for you, requires patience, not panic. Trust, not tension. Presence, not pressure. That is why your heart now prefers silence. That is why you walk away from chaos. That is why you stop explaining yourself. You are not shrinking. You are stabilizing. Allah is making your foundation strong before He adds more weight to your life. My dear brother, my dear sister, if you could force blessings, they would arrive broken. If you could control destiny, it would crush you. So Allah protects you from yourself by teaching you how to let go. And one day when what is written for you arrives, it will not come with fear. It will not come with stress. It will come with calm. And you will recognize it. Not because you fought for it, but because your heart feels at home with it. You will look back at this season and finally understand